This is the presentation about education and consulting in the Czech Republic, so make yourself comfortable and take a coffee. We would like to start with some general information. This is our flag. Each color has its own meaning. On the right, you can see one of our national symbols. Czech Republic is located in the middle of Europe. Our neighbors are Poland, Germany, Austria, and Slovakia. Population is about 10.5 million. The capital city is Prague. The currency is Czech crown and official language is Czech. Political system in Czech Republic is parliamentary democracy, with president as the head of state and prime minister as the head of government. There are a lot of protests since 2017 against prime minister, communist power in government, and president's pro-Russian orientation. There are some main Czech inventions, for example, contact lenses, the word robot, fingerprints, blood types, sugar cube, and so on.
Now we can finally go to the dominant topic of the presentation, that is Czech education. We found out some main different points of the Czech education compared to the Finnish. The biggest difference is that the profession of a teacher has a low social status and the salary is inferior. Teachers at school are considered as an authority and students have to address them with their titles. Parents pay for meals, supplies and textbooks for their children. System of Czech education is focused on facts and knowledge, not really on inner motivation and feelings. Marks are given from 1 to 5, when 1 is the best point. You have to consider quality of school while choosing one for your child, because they are not equal. Another different point is amount of homework. Children usually have a lot of learning at home. Studies at public universities are also for free, but after turning 27, one have to pay for the studies, and we will talk about this later.
There are public schools and private schools. Public schools usually have maximum class size around 30 pupils and studies are free of charge. Advantage of public schools is increased social diversity. Public schools are commonly in Czech language and there is higher probability to be accepted by universities.
Private schools are partly funded by the state and partly paid for by parents through fees. Tuition is around €2,000 per year. Parents also pay for some extra activities as well as lunch or textbooks. One advantage of private school is fewer children in class, so the personal approach is trusting and focused on individuals. Most of private schools are bilingual, usually Czech language with English or German. There is undoubtedly better communication between the parents and schools. Teachers are better paid and also there is better modern equipment.
Private schools are usually underestimated by the public. There are opinions that private school pupils have easier studies, that their teachers are more tolerant, and that they can even help them during exams. But we don't want to judge whether it's true or not. It also depends on each school teachers that are teaching there. Now we will describe each stages of the Czech education. The first stage of education is pre-primary school. Preschools are for kids during years 3 to 6 and there is high attendance. The last year before entering primary school is mandatory.
The following stage is primary school, which lasts for 9 years. There are 2 stages. In the second stage, there is a possibility to transfer to grammar school either in 5th or 7th grade of basic school. This opportunity is used by 10% of pupils. After completing basic school, students usually have to pass entrance exams to get into secondary school. Here is a brief overview of the most attended secondary schools. Most of the students continue to professional school or lycée.
After you complete basic school, you can choose these types. Grammar school lasts usually 4 years, but also 6 or 8, as I have already mentioned. There, pupils can learn general education in most cases, or they can choose grammar school specialized in math, language, and so on. During the last 2 years, students can take more elective subjects. After final graduation exam, there is no specific qualification. It's preparation for university studies. This opportunity is used by 91%.
Another choice after primary school is vocational school. It lasts 2 to 3 years, depending on the profession, after which you get an apprenticeship certificate. For some schools, it is possible to continue for another 1 to 2 years, in total 4 to 5 years, after which there is an academic final exam. Other choice is professional school and lycée. They last 4 years and you award a graduation qualification. In professional schools, there are a large variety of industrial and technical skills. In lycée, you get a specific qualification in these fields written below. Most of the students continue to university.
When a child has a reference from an educational psychologist being mentally handicapped, the best way to study is on special and practical schools. It lasts 3 years and children learn to be self-sufficient. Usually they have a special teacher. In Czech education there is an option to focus on art skills also. There are conservatoires, where pupils study for 6 years in courses such as singing, dancing, acting and others.
Commonly after secondary school you have to pass final exam. We call it Maturita exam. It includes 2 parts. The state part contains an exam in Czech language and world literature, plus mathematics or a foreign language. The second part is a school one, where 2 or 3 subjects are mandatory but chosen by student. After a successful graduation, you can continue to tertiary education where you have large selection to choose from. One of the options is higher professional school, where you study for 3 years. Graduation is called absolutorium. It consists of an oral exam and defending your final thesis. The school awards you with this, specialist with diploma title, which is written after your name. Below you can see what fields are usually chosen.
Most of the students go to universities. There is both public and private types. Studies in public schools are for free, but just till the age of 26, when the attendant will not receive student status from social services and the individual's health insurance will not be state-funded. Studies in other language than in Czech must be paid by student. Czech university education offers these bachelor's, master's and doctoral degree programs. First program after graduation is bachelor's degree. It takes 3 years, after which you will be awarded the BC title. Entrance exams are organized by the universities themselves. Then you are able to continue with master's degree study. It lasts 2 years and is completed by passing final exams and defending final thesis. After, if you want to become a real expert, you can continue to doctoral degree program.
And what about our holidays? The school year starts in September and ends in June. It's divided into 2 semesters with exams at the end of each. Christmas holidays last about 10 days. Following are spring holiday, Easter holidays and summer holiday, which usually last 2 months. Now let's talk about Czech school autonomy, financing and advisory bodies. In Czech Republic, schools have full responsibility for the quality of the education process, financial management, and appointing or dismissing teachers. Czech education is financed by public funds. This year, Czech has the highest resources ever. Each municipality and region get their budget and are free to manage it according to their requirements. There is a special control body over the education system which you cannot find in Finland. That is the Czech School Inspectorate, which is responsible for monitoring of schools and school facilities, such as their educational programs, the quality of management, or how effectively funds are used. Another consultative body is the National Institute of Education, that is focused on development in the area of each education stages, and also provides guidance.
We hope that you are still awake and we can move to the second topic of our presentation, career and educational counseling, which is arranged by universities, educational center, pedagogical psychological center, and institution of pedagogy and psychology consulting. The activities of the guidance systems are merged to provide counseling services to pupils leaving primary and secondary school. To a certain extent, both guidance systems use the same work procedures and sources of information. Although the official documents don't specifically state that this should be an integrated system of guidance services, the basis for such a system is being unsystematically but progressively developed in both sectors.
Guidance and counseling services are required by law to be provided at all stages of schools. The services are provided by educational counselors and school prevention specialist teachers with a further qualification obtained through in-service training. At some schools, psychologists and special educational needs specialists also provide guidance and counseling support. The most important individual profession is the educational counselor. The position is taken by a school teacher with the necessary qualifications. Institute of Pedagogical Psychological Consulting, school consulting organizations, and institutions for other education of pedagogical staff provide services such as processing informations, analysis and researches, creating conceptions, sharing publications, or research activities.
Pedagogical psychological advisory help with raising and educating pupils. These centers offer not just career consulting, but also assistance for teachers' qualification or prevention of social pathological phenomenon. Usually consultations are free of charge. Guidance and counseling for tertiary professional education is organized by the same bodies and institution and in the same way as at secondary schools. Some higher education institutions offer academic guidance service centers. Most public universities provide their service through in-house career consulting centers. Some of the Czech cities offer legal and social counseling which is free of charge and provided to all categories of foreigners and refugees from third countries. The assistants might also help them with searching ideal school for their children, assist in educational matters, or teach Czech language.
To be an educational counselor, one needs to have a master's degree, preferably in pedagogical field, plus an additional 4-semester course. The course is accredited by Ministry of Education, Youth and Sports, takes place once a week, costs 640 euros and involves 220 hours of teaching plus 30 hours of practical training. In Czech, educational counselors are usually teachers. Requirements on entry qualifications of those who provide career counselor services are not clearly defined. However, a master's degree in humanities, preferably in the field of pedagogical sciences, with work experience in guidance or in the field of secondary education is commonly accepted and required. For possible further education, there are several specialized courses and seminars offered by educational institutions. The courses might cost up to 600 euros.
Career counselors can work in either the public sector, such as employment office, or in private sectors such as personnel agencies, civic associations, movements, and various foundations. Well, that was all from us. We hope that the information were helpful for you.
Feel free to comment or ask below for further questions.
Have a nice studies!